Now, I don't normally do movie reviews on this channel unless I feel something absolutely has to be said, but Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom is a much better movie than Jurassic World. I actually enjoyed it because it led me in a direction I didn't expect it to go, and therefore I cared more about the plot than the first movie. So the end of the last movie might have evoked images of the sequel being about an army of gun-wielding dinosaurs in battle, but then the trailer came out and showed nothing of the sort. Instead, it seemed like we were getting some kind of Lost World remake, in which there's a struggle to get the dinosaurs off the island, then they go on rampage on a boat to the mainland, and then they escape throughout the towns of the mainland. But nope, the story was deeper and left me guessing much more than that. It goes without saying, the next part of this video comes with spoilers, so if you don't want to know spoilers, look away now. So to start off with, we were introduced to a group of submarining missionaries taking the tail of the indominous Rex from the last movie that we later found out was used as a sample to make the Indo raptor. This is the main villainous monster of the story, and might I add, a much better monster than Indominus, as he's clearly been designed to be small enough to fit in buildings, but have enough creepy features such as his huge talons and crooked teeth. Now, he's not the best made up dinosaur in the franchise. That title belongs to the Dilophosaurus, because his fear factor takes us completely by surprise with the shaking hood and spitting venom. Nor is it really the best dinosaur for me. That title belongs to the T-Rex in the first movie, simply because it was real, and when I was introduced to him as a kid, I was not only in fear of him, but in amazement and awe that such a thing really existed once. Which is why making made-up dinosaurs such as Indominus and Indoraptor as the main villainous monster puts the new franchise in the less interesting position of Godzilla or that Rampage movie. But unlike the first movie, this one doesn't focus on the Indoraptor. Instead, it focuses on the role of nature in the way we behave. The movie begins and ends with Jeff Goldblum's speech to Congress about the consequences of playing with nature, and it's themed out on that. Throughout the film, creation and destruction are put against each other. The volcano is destroying the island, so the humans are creating a new habitat for them. But the evil humans are destroying that plan to sell them at auction. Blue, who gets shot early on, was a human creature. At the end of the movie, he escapes, creating his own world, but destroying the humans in the process. The little girl was created as a clone to Mr. Lockwood's daughter, and as a result of knowing how she was created, she goes on to release the dinosaurs, and therefore effectively destroys the world as we know it. For me, this movie didn't take the predictable route of the first in putting scary monsters up against humans and simply having action throughout the entire movie. There was more acting in this movie, and while the first movie had better spoken comedy, this movie had better visual comedy, with the lava scene and elevator scene coming to mind. Lockwood's Manor proved a much more sinister setting than the first movie, and the feeling of entrapment was much more believable in this location. Where the movie falls short is that we never get to see Owen and Claire interact much with any other human character apart from the veterinarian doctor, the computer analyst, and the kid. The fanboy in me wanted to see Jeff Goldblum or some other big name actor such as Dwayne Johnson come in and joke with Chris Pratt. That would have definitely lifted the movie. The doctor and the computer analyst largely get forgotten about towards the end of the movie, along with Dr. Wong, who just gets taken away in an unconscious slump. The movie has also thrown away the family and workers from the first movie. After all, nobody cared about them anyway. Then there's this weird relationship Owen and Claire have with each other. They follow the same story arc as the first movie, hating each other at first despite having a previous relationship, being put in danger, and then at crisis point, randomly kissing again. Although it seems less tedious than the first movie because Claire is more suitably dressed in the footwear department, they're still not the most likeable on-screen relationship. It also has some extremely stereotypical movie scenarios. The bullet is removed and Blue magically gets better. The old, once powerful man gets killed. The old mansion happens to be full of scary things and rain. Rich people are greedy, and evil beasts are stupid. There are some huge gaping plot holes in it too. For example, Owen and Claire visit the islands to save the dinosaurs from the volcano. Claire even has her own charity for saving the animals. But Jurassic Park 3 introduces us to a second island, Isla Sorna, where there are dinosaurs anyway. So what's the point in going to Isla Nuebar and risking your life to save the dinosaurs when they're on the other island anyway? So then Owen gets knocked unconscious, so Zia picks up a gun and kicks up a fuss, even though she hardly knows him at all, ending up with her being taken away, leaving him on his own to get burned in the lava. So they take the dinosaurs to a super secret auction with super rich arms dealers who happen to have no security whatsoever, so Owen and Claire can just sneak in. I mean, why wouldn't you just sell the dinosaurs online before they reach the mainland anyway? And then Owen and Claire get locked up with the dinosaurs, and there's a speech about how they were both responsible for the downfall of Jurassic World. If they are, and if so many died, why aren't they in prison anyway at the start of the movie, especially Claire? I mean, wasn't there a lawsuit and investigation against the park? It would have made a better movie if it played on the dramatic irony of being locked up. So then, inevitably, the dinosaurs all escape and create the Jurassic World. But once again, in Jurassic Park 3 and Jurassic World, we see pterosaurs escaping, meaning pterosaurs are already everywhere. But even given dinosaurs escaping, we only ever see about 20 dinosaurs, all of different species, although they did keep the genetic codes. Even so, one dinosaur going rampage can be taken down easily like Blue, surely. But that's another thing, are these dinosaurs bulletproof or not? The Indoraptor suddenly decides to be bulletproof halfway through the movie. It's trained to target people on laser sounds, but why would you train it that? Surely it's easier to shoot the obvious people you can see and let the dinosaur do the stealth work. For these reasons, it will never outlive the first movie, which was, let's face it, a story which lasted a movie at best. I feel like this franchise is now in a race with the Planet of the Apes franchise, in which one little girl who was the product of biological experiments teams up with animals who are also the product of the same disaster. For that, I hope it doesn't end up in a predictable way in the future, but as a monster movie, I feel it's inevitable it will. As for this movie, it did well to surprise me. But do you agree with me? Join in the debate below and subscribe.